On this episode, besides driving to work, we're going to talk about the new C8 and welcome it to the family. And we'll discuss whether I plan on trading in.
Hey Vedheads, good morning. I am on my way to work, and really the last 2 weeks have been very exciting for the Corvette community. The official press release for the C8 was 2 weeks ago. I did watch it, and I have some thoughts on it. I've watched everybody else online start beating this car with a dead horse, or what is it? You're beating a dead horse.
It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong.
So I'm going to grab my bludgeon as well and give it a good whack. And I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. So in the corner, I'll build a spec sheet for shits and giggles, and let's just start breaking up this car. So I'm going to talk about the exterior, the interior, and the numbers of the car. So let's start right with the exterior. I think this is a good-looking car. From the front and from the side. I really am not a fan of the back. The front I like better than the C7, and the side profile I think is gorgeous. Now the biggest change with the C8 is obviously it is a mid-engined car. I think it's about time Chevrolet honored Zora's legacy by building the mid-engined car he wanted Corvette to be. However, my biggest gripe with mid-engines is the fact that you can't get away from, for lack of a better description, what I like to call the Ferrari look. And I call it the Ferrari look because Ferrari is most known for doing mid-engine cars that have this short nose, long back. It's just not something you can escape when you're trying to build a mid-engined car. So when it first came out, I was kind of a little worried about how it would look, and to me, it does have a Ferrari-esque feel. However, I think Chevrolet has done a very good job making it look like a Corvette. So let's move on from the exterior and let's talk about the interior. And I'm really not going to say much about this. This is going to be nice, quick, and short. I don't like the interior really at all. My two biggest gripes are the screen, which faces the driver. Now, I think that's fantastic for the driver because you're not looking at a flat screen that's kind of elsewhere. However, if you're a passenger in that car, you can no longer see what's on the infotainment system. And I think that's kind of crappy for the passenger. In addition, between the driver and the passenger is this mile-long row of buttons. It's got to be like 30 plus buttons in a row, and it's literally just straight down. Look, I'm no car designer, but there had to have been a better way to organize those buttons. It just, to me, it's kind of egregious that they chose to do it that way. And that's all I'm going to say about the interior. Let's talk about the numbers, because I think this is where it is a fantastic step forward for Chevrolet, Corvette, and General Motors. At $60,000, you're talking about a car that does 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, 495 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. And we're not even talking about the ZR1 or Z06. When those come out, they're going to be absolute monsters. This car is a great stab at the supercar market. And I think Chevrolet is going to hit it out of the park with the Corvette. All that being said, I'm really not a fan of it, and I don't believe I'll be trading in my C5 anytime soon to purchase a C8. Let's talk about the last 3 things that I think are important about the C8 Corvette. First of all, we'll talk about the cylinder deactivation. Chevrolet has said for gas mileage purposes, the C8 will deactivate 4 cylinders on the highway. Everyone I've talked to who's had this system or a similar system really did not like it. Cadillac had it several years ago, and most of the time it was just ported out of the computer, and I imagine much the same will be done with the Corvette. In addition, when I had the opportunity to use it in a Dodge Challenger Hemi, I really didn't like the system at all. When you were on the highway and it was in 4 cylinders, you really didn't notice, except for the fact when you needed to pass someone, it took longer than you expected for the rest of those cylinders to kick in. And to me, that was rather annoying. Second, the new C8, if you don't know, will only be available in an automatic transmission. 8 speeds nonetheless. I'm certainly not knocking any automatic transmission drivers. I don't want you to think that. I've driven everything automatic really up until this point. This has been my first manual car that I've owned. And I'm not knocking automatic transmission drivers. However, I do wish that I had the option should I decide on a manual transmission. I do enjoy driving a manual transmission, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that. So the last thing I want to say is I think the biggest reason I don't like the C8, and it's sort of the reason I really wasn't a fan of the C7 for a long time, is I'm not into angles. And to me, the C7 and C8 are relatively angular. I'm talking about the angles of, say, Cadillac or Lamborghini is a prime example. All their new cars are extremely angular, and I'm not a fan of them. So that's why I think I don't personally really am attracted to the C8. All that being said, I am certainly not trading in my C5. I love the look of my C5, and I love it a little bit more every single day. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the C8. I hope it was short enough. Here's the thing. What do you think of the C8? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you trading in your C5, C6, C7? Or now are you excited that the C7s are going to start dropping in price? Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.